What is going on, everybody? Zach RC here. Welcome back to the channel and welcome along to episode number 18 of the F1 22 Road to GOAT Career Mode series for the Brazilian Grand Prix, serving as the second round of the 2023 season. If you guys did miss the first episode uploaded a few days ago, make sure to go check one out. There'll be a card on the top right hand corner of your screen now, and it's a sprint episode today, ladies and gentlemen, so you get two very exciting races on the table for you here at Interlagos. Like we did last season, make sure to go check one out if you haven't as well, because those races are absolute classics. We're going to jump right into the sprint here, no change of strategy, just mediums for 12 laps. Very short sprint here, we're down the fuel as we usually do, so try and keep us a bit more light for the race. In terms of qualifying, we're up in the top 10 once again, doing decent after our first run for Alpine last time out. Going to try once again, our main target is to beat our teammate. If we can challenge those front runners a little bit, try and shake them up a little bit, then we can try and do that as the last two cars take their seats. Take their spaces on the back of the grid for the start of the sprint itself. So here we go then, about to get underway. The Haas and the Williams at the back of the grid. So go to 5 red lights for the Sao Paulo sprint for the second round of the championship. Lights out, foot to the floor, go, go, go. Decent getaway compared to those cars. Well, not compared to those cars in front of Ricardo getting through on our right hand side. Ocon might try as well around their outside into turn 1. He doesn't get close enough. Ricardo, we're going to see inside of him at turn number 1. Bit of contact there. We rubbing him with that first turn. Perez is still out of shape out of turn 2. Bit of contact. We go run over the curves and Perez stays in front of us. It's a bit of an aggressive start. We've been jolted around a little bit here, so Perez gets him in front. Ricardo there behind us might try and go for a move going down to turn 4, but not really close enough to go for it. So stay in line, as I said, it goes down, diving late down our inside. And the king of the late breakers, Daniel Ricciardo, doing his best job each time here and getting us up into P8. And we're now stuck behind him in P9, so out of points here. Gasly right there behind us, and Ocon there in P11, so he's lost place on the start. So we've fallen down one place here, try and get Ricciardo back as soon as we can, though, making our way through these next couple of corners, just trying to keep in line and keep in touch with these top 8 cars. If they get away, then we can't score points. Into lap number 2 now, DRS back to be deployed, going towards turn 1. I'm going to try and go for a move on Daniel if we can get close enough, but it's just too much of a risk at this stage, especially this early on in the sprint, in order for us to try and make that move. Of course, the sprint determines our qualifying position for the Grand Prix itself, so if we fall down the order, then we have a very tough race in front of us. DRS deployed as we run towards turn number 4, closing in on the Honey Badger. We're going to try and look to the inside, going into the corner. There's contact, we've hit him a little bit too much there, we've tapped his tyre, and we throw the hand up, but that was definitely our fault there. We get in front of Ricardo, but at what cost there? Because I doubt he'll be too happy with us. We're going to make our way up to turn number 6 here, through that long sweeping right hand. We've gone a bit too wide there, and on the exit, Ricardo's going to take full advantage of that and go charging back through to reclaim P8, so back down to 9th place here, and Gasly still there behind us in 10th. He's holding off Ocon for the moment. End lap number 3 now, chasing Ricardo down the main straight once again. DRS redeployed. As Charles Leclerc sets the fast lap of the race. We set it the first time round, so this Alpine is still dangerously quick as we head towards that first corner. Ricardo defending us all the way to turn that first corner, and we go to the inside of him, managed to make it stick there, forcing him a little bit too wide. He's managed to get up in front of himself. One McLaren doing quite well. Lando Norris currently leading the way. He started on pole for this one, so he's doing a brilliant job there holding up Leclerc up front. And Ricardo back here in 9th, so doing our job defending from here. Towards turn 1 again. Start lap number 6 this Grand Prix, nearing the halfway. Grand Prix, the sprint nearing the halfway stage. Ricardo's going to try it at turn 1. Going to try and go to the inside here. And on the switchback, that's a brilliant exit. We've managed to make that work beautifully there. So pack him into P8, and Ricardo could fall prey to Ocon further back. And Ocon does get him as we push on to lap number 9 now. A few more laps to go in this sprint. The sun has begun to part the clouds massively here. We've got a nice clean racetrack, nice bright racetrack in order to finish this one off. We'll hold off Ocon as best we can these last couple laps. We're on the grass bit, we've gone charging up our inside. That was very aggressive from our teammate, clearly trying to show us who's boss in these early rounds of the championship, so we don't try anything on him later on. We've got Ricardo being threatened by Gasly there behind us. Ocon chases us all the way down that main straight. He's going to have the DRS here towards turn 1. Down the main straight. Look how close it's getting. We're going to go almost 4 abreast here. They get close enough going into turn 1. Ocon's on our inside. Ricardo might try it as well. There goes Gasly around our outside. It's all over the place here. We're going to force out Gasly, and Ocon and Ricardo slow each other up enough for us to slide back through and reclaim P8. So 1 point here on off-road. We've reached the last couple of laps of this race. On to lap number 11 here. The leaders have really pulled away from us here. 9 seconds to Perez as they make our way through the second sector. There's a yellow flag there in front of us, and Leclerc, one of the Ferraris, I think that's Charles Leclerc, has lost it. He was running in second place, and there's been some kind of issue. Norris has gone pulling straight ahead at a rate of knots here. So Leclerc chasing Norris into this last corner, and not sure what happens, but Leclerc on the exit spins it, and for the second race in a row, the last time the world champion spun it was Australia chasing down Verstappen. This time chasing down Lando Norris, and he's made short work of it. Norris gets away, and Perez takes full advantage, goes sliding around the outside of everyone there. So all of a sudden, a chance at points on our hands here. Russell's right there in P7, or a chance of more points rather. We do have this 1 point trying to hold on to, and Ocon's the second back, so we can really try and challenge Russell and disrupt this front pack if we can, because they've really disrupted each other thanks to Leclerc's spin. Norris is on course to win this thing. I don't see anything stopping him now as he makes his way through. Into turn 1 we go. Going to try and close on Russell as best we can. And we'll have DRS out of turn number 3, so we'll have a chance of making a move on him once we get to turn 4 here. So Russell's our main target on this final lap. We can try and snatch P7 here using the DRS and what's left of our battery on the run towards that 4th turn. It's not going to be enough for us to close in, but still about half a second back here. So Russell might be at that bit too far beyond our grasp, but he always was. But even before the spin, here comes Norris towards the line to take the sprint, his second career victory. He won last season in Singapore in the main race, and he's going to win here in Brazil and put himself on pole position for the sprint itself. When it comes to the line in P8, unable to catch Russell in the end. Leclerc has been hurt horribly with that. He snatched our fastest lap, and as a result, he spun out. So karma perhaps being dealt seriously to Leclerc there as we come over in P8. So 1 point towards the championship and 8 for the race itself as well.
Despite the best efforts of our championship leader, that lead has taken a bit of a knock today. It's time to check out the constructors' standings. And pulling further ahead in the standings, it's Red Bull. The grid is set then, so that just leaves the race itself. Join us tomorrow where we'll be live with all the action. And until then, goodbye.
So we'll run through your top 10 then going into the race itself. Norris will start on pole with Hamilton alongside. It's Perez who came 3rd in the sprint to the end. Massively taking advantage of what happened with Leclerc, everyone getting piled up. Sainz in 4th, Verstappen 5th, Leclerc finishing 6th in the end, Russell 7th, we come home in 8th, Ocon gains a place in the sprint, so it's 9th for him, and Gasly will start P10 for the race. It's one crucial point that will go towards our Drivers' Championship tally to add to the 7 we scored last time out in Australia, and no points yet for Leclerc, or at least not from this race weekend. We'll have to see what we can do in the race itself. In terms of Drivers' Championship, Norris jumps up into 2nd place, 6 points off Verstappen. Of course, won the first race, is still there on top. Leclerc there in 3rd, and we're still sitting in 7th place, 6 points off of Russell in the championship. And in terms of the constructors' standings, Alpine still sit there in 5th place, 16 points off Ferrari, so we are chasing massively here. If McLaren are this good over the rest of the season, we could be in serious trouble here, not fighting for 5th place in the championship. Only a place up from where we finished with Williams last season, so let's try and hope we can stop the McLarens in the race. So with all that being said, then we're going to jump into the Grand Prix itself, the Sao Paulo Grand Prix, round number 2 of the 2023 Formula 1 World Championship. A very entertaining sprint indeed, and of course that late chance for points almost on the cards, but more points rather, but didn't quite pay off for us. So P8 for us in this Grand Prix, and the aim here is to try and put some more points on the board for Alpine and try and beat our teammate who starts just 1 place behind us here. As you see the pack lining up on the grid, getting ready for the start. So let's say we're starting the outside of that 4th row, P8 for us, and we look to try and score some more points if we can. Maybe match that P7 from Australia, or perhaps even exceed it. And there's Lance Stroll starting 18th on the grid for Aston Martin, because Vettel retired in the first race, so reliability issues could play Aston Martin over the course of the season. We have to see how they do in this Grand Prix. In terms of strategy here, we're looking at mediums to hards as we normally do. But in terms of what we're pitting, I did throw this one around a little bit. Not quite sure in terms of decision. Well, of course, last season we sacrificed a lot in terms of having to pit a lap or choose to pit a lap early, and it cost us several times as we down the fuel there. So we're going to pit a lap after the expected time of pitting. So we'll come through to the grid now, starting alongside Russell's black Mercedes there. A very nice looking black Mercedes. Because all the mods I use in these videos will be down in the description if you want to download themselves. So credit to all the brilliant creators who made them. So as it up on the grid here, getting ready for the start of the race itself. Norris on pole, Hamilton alongside him. It's 2 Brits leading the charge at turn number 1. And we start back in P8 as we go to 5 red lights now for the Sao Paulo Grand Prix to get this one underway. Lights out, foot to the floor, go, go, go. Great run off the line compared to Ocon, who comes charging back us around the outside. So we side by side with him going into that first corner. Let's go late on the brake to try and get him at turn 1, tapping Russell a little bit there. He's still alongside us out of 2. There goes there. All of a sudden, there goes Gasly there. Where did he come from? He's completely almost magicked himself into there, passing Ocon to that first corner and getting away. We've managed to stay in front of him though. So holding on to P8 here, and Ocon's got shuffled back here. And the 2 AlphaTauris both in front of him. Russell still our main target to go towards turn 4. Contact between Leclerc and Verstappen in front of us. So those two, their rivalry continue on from Australia and from last season as well. Russell on the chase here, looking to make something happen, trying to pass Leclerc. We're trying to focus on passing him if we can. We don't gain anything from this start yet, so try and make a move here. Go to the inside. Russell leaves us enough room. Of course, he won this one here in Brazil in real life, but you wouldn't know it based on the way he's driven so far, because I think that was quite challenged the front runners just yet. We managed to pass him here and up into P7, so again 1 place off the opening lap. On to lap number 3 now. DRS deployed for the first time in this race as we come close to setting the fastest lap there. 1 minute 11.0. A decent lap so far to kick things off. And Leclerc is our main target now. We're chasing the new world champion down the Retro Costa towards turn number 4. And see what he can do. But he's got DRS as well, plus the much faster car. So I doubt we'll get him on this straight. We'll have to wait and see if we can try and get him elsewhere. Got a bit too deep there going into the corner. So Leclerc stays in front for the time being. As we come down to the end lap number 3 now. Leclerc's pulled away by over a second, and Russell's now our main focus. He's going to look to the inside as we go towards this first corner. He's got a foot on us going into the braking zone. He's there inside, he's side by side. We're trying to attempt to switch back here, but he's held his line brilliantly off turn 1. As a result, we've tapped the back of his car. So we've got to move back into line behind him. Ocon's managed to get back around both Alpha Tauris here. And he's challenging and trying to close back in on us. Get the DRS once again and going towards turn number 4. Going to look to the inside if we can. There's enough room. Very tight between the pair of us. Way over the curbs there, but it's keeping it within the track limits. And passing Russell once again to put us back up into P7 and start to chase Leclerc once again. End lap now 8 now, pushing a few laps further on to the Grand Prix. Russell 3 seconds behind us, and we are now chasing Leclerc and Verstappen as we come down this main straight. I dare say the Monegasque will look to the outside, and there he goes towards that first corner. Sainz into the pit lane, changing his soft tyres that he started on into turn 1. Bit of contact between Verstappen and Leclerc here. We're going to try and follow the Dutchman through. If he gets around the Monegasque, yes he does. We'll go past Leclerc and now try and take on Verstappen here. So the last race winner, we're going to try and have a go at him going towards turn number 4. DRS deployed, no DRS for him. Into the corner, is it just too risky? Yes it is. Now stick in line for the moment and try and make it happen out of the corner, but no chance. Verstappen driving away, drive away brilliantly, but still keeping in front of us. And DRS once again, lap number 10 here. We'll look to the outside if we can. Verstappen really defending that inside lane. I'm getting deja vu from when we took him on last season. A bit of contact in that battle, but this time no such thing. On the exit trying to get in front of Verstappen, but he just managed to shut us off there going through turn number 5. So good defensive driving from him there. And coming into lap number 10 now, chasing him down the main straight, and Russell's caught back up here, so he could get involved in the battle in a moment's time as well. Here we go now, going to try and look to the inside, going into turn 1, very late on the stoppers, into the braking zone, and we've got him on the exit just about, but he's still alongside us. He's been very tight here. We've gone a bit wide, but we've gone over the curbs way too much there, but Verstappen almost taking advantage, going dancing around our outside, and moving back alongside as we go in towards turn number 4 once again. No DRS for either one of us here. Leclerc's going to try and go on the attack. We've forced Verstappen towards the outside and going into the braking zone. It's still side by side. We're going to try and get everyone on the inside, but Verstappen with a better traction off. We've got the inside for turn 5. Verstappen still going for it around the outside. The Rebel powertrain doing a brilliant job. And Leclerc looking to the inside now too. He's going to try and take Verstappen as well. There's contact. Verstappen gets shuffled all out of place. Russell now finding his way through and a dive to the inside of the Brit and going to underneath him, looking for P5. And we're not going to be able to get it here. So we've managed to get one. We've lost 2. Passing Verstappen, but getting passed by Russell and Leclerc in the process. So Leclerc now back up to P4 and showing just why he is the world champion. On lap number 12 now, chasing Russell down towards turn number 4. I should try and be very careful with him here. Going to the inside, very late on the brakes. We've got a foot on him here, but Russell leaves us nothing at all. And we spun it, there we go. And around, all of a sudden, a second race in a row, we spin in this Alpine machine. And all of a sudden, our chances of points are looking in jeopardy. So we try and get the car turned around as quick as we can. The whole field goes charging by. We're down to P16 here. That's in P17 when Sainz gets around us. Ricciardo also got caught up. We're blocking him off completely. He's blocking us. And let's take on Ricciardo again here. As there goes Bottas and Audi around the outside, trying to get around us, but it doesn't quite do it. And Albon, our old teammate, almost tries sticking it out behind us. On lap number 13, we've got a lot of work to do now. All of a sudden, we want to even get back into this race and have a sniff of beating our teammate or taking some points. The inside of Latifi's house at turn number 1, managed to get the job done for him easy peasy. As we make our way through turn number 3, our next target will be Carlos Sainz in the Ferrari. Was picked up for softs earlier in the race, so now perhaps looking at a 2-stop going into the rest of this Grand Prix. So we have to first pick for another set of mediums in order to make it to the finish line. We try and take Schumacher at turn 4 and try and get the German ourselves on the exit. Was German in his second race for Audi. We took him on a bit in the last episode and try and take him on again here. But Sainz is also focused on getting around it himself. Around the outside at turn number 6. On the exit, Schumacher almost losing it right there. We wanted to grass a bit, so not too much harm done there for us. Let's still try and get around as best we can on the exit. Contact there with banged tyres, but it's enough for us to try and pull alongside, go around the outside into the next corner, and go very late on the brakes to avoid hitting Sainz there. And around the outside of the Schumacher machine, we're up into P14 and chasing Sainz now. Oh, there goes Magnussen running wide and almost taking Gasly with him. And go to the inside of Sainz, taking advantage of the struggles from the Ferrari Alfa Romeo machine, and up into P13 now. So another move completed as we chase Magnussen and Gasly down this main straight. Of course, Gasly, we had a bit of a scuffle with him at turn 2 at the opening lap of this race. And now he's back down here in P11 on the run towards turn 1. Look at the outside of Magnussen. This only place we can go for. He's defending the inside beautifully, going into that first turn. He jumps inside of Gasly, and Sainz almost goes to the inside of us. We're going to see how he turned red there, but we managed to keep in front. But instead, we lost momentum and try and take on Gasly. Go next couple of corners here and try and take him on once again. As Tsunoda runs wide just at the front of this pack. We're going to take Gasly, but he's still down our insides to go through turn number 8 here, side by side. We're going to try and go on the outside and move back into line on the exit as he head for turn number 10. And go to the inside of Magnussen here to make it work on the exit. We've got him too, so that's 2 overtakes in about 3 corners or so. Vettel, our next target, Verstappen in front of him. Vettel runs wide on the exit. We're going to take full advantage and we're going to make our way through. We're up into P10 now, so back inside those points paying places as we reach the halfway stage of this Grand Prix. Verstappen, our next target, is to make our way down this main straight once again. DRS must be redeployed. There's a contact number 16 here. We use it once again. DRS against Verstappen because he's left us room in these first couple of battles we've had with him. We've got the nose on him going into turn 4, and as a result, we're going to jump right up in front of him, take the Dutchman, and up into P9 now. Snowder and Joe are next to drivers in the Alfa Romeo, and our old machine, the BMW Williams, or it's now the BMW Williams. Our last car there, we're going to try and take Joe as best we can. Managed to go around Snowder, we're going to try and take Joe as well. The inside of the Williams, and on the exit, we're going to get him around the outside. So back up into P6, the comeback is more or less complete in that respect, and we are more or less back where we started. And we come into the pit lane here to make our first and only stop of this Grand Prix, and we should lose a good number of spots here if those guys have already stopped a bit earlier than we did. Looking at the turn in here, we'll try and get this one just right if we can. So Joe coming in behind us and Snowder with us as well. Onto the hard tyres we go. Good stop required from the Williams team with no hold-ups. Schumacher, I thought he was going to hold us up just a little bit there in the Audi, but managed to keep away. And so we are back up into P number 9 here. Going on to nearing the halfway stage of this Grand Prix, and our only target in front of us now being our teammate Esteban Ocon, who sits about 12 seconds up the road with half a race left to go, but I doubt we see any threats behind. Joe and Verstappen, we're going to try and get away from them as best we can. This Alpine is dangerously quick on fresh tyres, so let's just see what we can do here, especially on a track with a lot of straights like this one here, like this one does, as we come through turn number 4 after our pit stop. So brilliant stuff there from the crew, and going on to this second stint, our main target is now to chase down Esteban Ocon, who is 14 seconds in front of us when we leave the pits. Coming down towards the end of number 19 now, still chasing him, and we're going to set the fastest lap of the race here, and that just goes to show just how quick this Alpine is when it's on new tyres. Brilliant job there, 1 minute 10.6, now the mark speed for the rest of the pack, and we're still chasing him down here. We're going to check just how far in front he is, about 14 seconds. We're trying to gain about a second a lap if we can, because we're about 14.9 off at the end of the last lap. So coming from number 20, the end of lap number 20 rather, we're down to 13 seconds. We are gaining a second a lap at this rate. And we set the fastest lap again for good measure. That extra point went our way last time in Australia. We're going to try and take it here as well if we can. And we're still chasing with 15 laps to go. Joe falling away behind us. We're pushing something like 32 now. Sainz is closed in. And we only got a few more laps to go, but we are starting to get our first glimpse of our teammate Esteban Ocon in the other Alpine. 4 seconds up the road. And up front, it looks like Norris is on course to win this Grand Prix, trying to take a sweep with the sprint and the race itself. But as we make our way through to the end of lap number 34, Ocon now just 2 seconds in front. You can see him a lot closer there in our point of view. 2 more laps left to go. Will we catch him in time? It may come down to whether or not we get DRS as soon as we can and try and just close up to him. But it's looking unlikely, so I doubt we'll pull it off. But anything is still possible. Something could still go wrong for him. Think back to last season when Gasly spun out on the penultimate lap. That helped us hugely in taking P6 for Williams last season. Into the last lap now, and we're just 1.2 seconds back from setting the fastest lap once again. That's the 3rd time we've set it today. And here, Norris up front on course to try and win it. We're all focused on Esteban Ocon, who we're going to try and get DRS off, and we have got DRS off of only just inside it, going into the zone. We have to close on as much as we can here. It's crucial we manage to get around him as quickly as possible in order to try and get those extra points and just show who we're really reporting to in these early stages of the season. So we're no pushover here as we make our way through the second sector, looking to close in. But we're still about a second back here. These hard tyres, I dare say, may have just run their course. We're still desperately trying to find some time just to close up on Ocon. As meanwhile, Lando Norris comes to the last couple of corners here through Jinso, and back up the hill he goes. He's absolutely dominated both the sprint and the race itself, taking advantage of Leclerc's spin in the sprint and pulling away from Hamilton and Perez in this Grand Prix. Driven absolutely flawlessly. He's going to take over the lead of the Drivers' Championship with the win here in Interlagos, crossing the lines, taking his 3rd career victory and his 2nd of the weekend. And at the end of it all, we are unable to catch Esteban Ocon here, still about a second back as Leclerc nicks our fastest lap for good measure. So 1 more point out of the window, unfortunately. Ocon, despite us spinning out earlier in the race, we're going to finish arguably better off. We still finished right there on his tail. But in the end, it wasn't meant to be. The fairy tale chase almost being pulled off for us. The comeback drive nearly completed at P7 once again as we've run out of fuel on the line there. Still a very satisfying result. I'm more than pleased with that. Absolutely fantastic, brilliant, enjoyable race. Not much more to say there. Great stuff.
Brilliant stuff from McLaren today. What a superb victory. So, Anthony, what made the difference out there today?
I feel like consistency was probably the key today. There's being quick, and then there's being quick lap after lap after lap. If you can do that, you can capitalise on other people's errors without making many of your own. And that's an approach that can push you a long way up the field.
Our drivers are making their way out for the podium celebrations, and it's going to be McLaren picking up the winner's trophy. Congratulations to the entire team for that fantastic performance.
So there you have it then. Lando Norris is the winner here in Interlagos. Hamilton comes in second and Perez in third. The top three order remaining unchanged from between the start and the end, from the end of the sprint. And the celebration begins from McLaren, who have a real chance this season of potentially trying to up the front runners and just get a bit close to them. We've got some work to do to try and keep on their tails. If Lando keeps winning races like this, then we could be screwed in terms of those constructors. We're going to do as best we can to try and close that gap and try and take advantage of any struggles they may see over the season.
Lando Norris takes the lead of the Drivers' Championship. Some amazing talent out on the track today. But Anthony, who would you pick as your driver of the day?
I have to give it to Cohen. There was a lot going on all down the field, but they were the only one who I really felt maximised their potential.
Let's move on to the constructors. It was a tough race for our championship leaders, who lose ground at the top of the table. Meanwhile, good work from Aston Martin this weekend, who pushed themselves further up the order. After an event like that, who knows what the sport has in store for us next time out? Be sure to join us once again as we continue to bring you all the excitement of Formula One.
So we'll go through your final results from the race itself. Then Norris wins from Hamilton and Perez rounding out the podium. Leclerc comes back to 4th in the end. Russell finishes 5th after spinning us out early on. Ocon in 6th. We come in 7th. Sainz didn't get the better of us in the end. Tried to chase us, didn't quite work. He comes home in 8th. Guan Yu Zhou takes points for Williams. Brilliant stuff for him. And Sebastian Vettel gets the final point for Aston Martin. Verstappen failing to score here. Mick Schumacher there in 14th once again for Audi. Another great result for them as they push closer and closer towards those points paying places. In terms of the Drivers' Championship, then Norris leads the way by 15 points now with both Leclerc and Hamilton. We sit there in P7. Ocon just 4 points off us and Sainz 4 points off as well. Of course, trying to get some points after that retirement last time out in Australia. And it goes Norris, Leclerc, Hamilton, Perez in the Drivers' Championship. And the Constructors, Red Bull lead though by just 3 points over Mercedes and 8 over McLaren. We still sit there in 5th place. We've got some serious work to do in terms of that position. But guys, that is the end of the video. I do hope you've enjoyed this one. If you did, make sure to like, share and subscribe for more content. And thank you guys so much for 1,000 subscribers. It means the world. We'll try and get more as the year goes on. So once again, thank you so much for watching, and I shall see you in my next video. Goodbye.